Hey there, I'm back with page 12 from our packet. Thanks so much for plugging away on my math. So, word problems. They're almost as good as fractions, right? We love them. But we can do them. If you look back up at the top of this page, I reminded you of what you needed to do for let statements, and I'm gonna apologize right now. My dog is like really wild right now, so if you hear growling, it's my puppy, and I apologize. So if you're looking up at the top, we have let statements, and I reminded you guys of the 3 different kinds of let statements or word problems we'll have to solve and what kind of let statements we'll need. So when you're looking at that, we have consecutive integers. Those were the ones that we have x plus 1, x plus 2. Because if you're a consecutive integer, it's like 1, 2, 3. You just have to add 1, then you add 2, then you add 3 to get from the first number to the next one, from the first number to the one after. So remember, we jumped around the room and we had the pages on the floor and we went from evens to odds, we went from integers, so that was kind of what we did when we learned it the first time. And then if you have consecutive even integers, so that's where you have x plus 2, x plus 4. We're skip counting and we're starting at an even number. So if 2 is even, I have to add 2 to get to 4. And if I'm starting at 2, I have to add 4 to get to the next one. Okay? Now here's the tricky one. Remember, if we're doing consecutive odds and we were jumping around on the floor and we had our numbers there, you still had to jump the same number over because you're skip counting. You're just starting at an odd number. So you start at 1 and then you add 2 to get to 3. And then you had to jump 4 to get to the next one. Very confusing. But we had it. We knew how to do it back then. So let's try to jog our memories and get started again on some word problems. So if I'm looking here, some of these are kind of tricky. It says, the first one here says, find 3 consecutive odd integers. Stop. How many let statements do we need if we're finding 3 consecutive odd integers? We need 3. So I'm going to say, I'm going to start by writing my 3 x's. I know I need 3 of them. But I know they're consecutive odds. So my first one's always x. Let x equal the first odd number. And then I'm going to say let x plus 2 equal the second odd number. And let x plus 4 equal the third odd number. All right, and we're skipping. Now we can go back and read again. But remember, we're reading like we're kindergartners learning how to read, so we go slow and we don't miss anything. So it said, find 3 consecutive odd integers. We did that. Such that 5, and we would write a 5 up on top of it, times, and remember, we're not using the x for this one, we're using the dot or parentheses, the third. When it says the third, we go back down to our let statement and we say, okay, my third is x plus 4. And when we rewrite it, we're always going to hug it with parentheses and keep it in there. And then we have is equal to, I'm going to put equals down, 9 more than. So I'm going to take the number 9, and more than just means add. The sum, if you remember, sum means that we're adding the first 2. So I'm going to take x is my first plus x plus 2. So here's what I wrote on my paper. I don't know if you can see it that clearly. All I did was translate what was in the problem into words. And here's what it would look like when we would do it in class. It's nice and big so you can see it. And boy, am I missing my whiteboard and smartboard right now. There we go. Okay, so then you do what you normally do. You're going to distribute, you're going to combine like terms, and you're going to get an answer. Okay, when you do these, remember that you're going to put the answer up next to your let statements. All right, so let me get a different color. We're going to distribute and distribute. So we get 5x plus 20 on this side. And then I'm gonna go through and say, okay, I'm gonna match up the like terms here. Now remember, I have lazy mathematicians. Actually, I should have done it in a different color so you can see it. There should be ones in front of those x's. So when I do that, I have 11 plus 2x on this side. And then now I'm gonna look at this and say I want all my x's to go to one side, all my non-x's to go to the other side. So I'm gonna subtract 2x on both sides to bring my x over. And I'm running out of space, so I'm not gonna rewrite it like we normally do, but I have 3x equals 11 minus 20. And so here's where I'm at. 3x equals negative 9. But I still don't have x alone. So now I have to divide through by 3 to get that x alone. Because remember, when they're next to each other, you're multiplying. And here's my answer. But here's the sticky part that you guys would get to this part and be like, I'm done, yay! You're not done yet. We have one more step to do. You have to take that negative 3 and plug it back into your let statement. And then you have to find all the numbers you were supposed to find. So if it says x is my first odd number, I'm excited because negative 3 is an odd number. But remember, we have to then plug it in. So underneath here, I'm going to show you. Here's what we do. Can you see that? So negative 3 is my x. That's where I said, yay, x is negative 3. Now I say negative 3 plus 2. And in my calculator, when I do that, that gives me negative 1. And then I went down here. Negative 3 plus 4. That gives me 1. There are my answers. So you're not completely finished until you find all 3. Remember when I'm going to just give you a hint on the other two because I want you to try those on your own. Remember when you have a subtracted from, the one then is the arrow we always put next to it, and then it says, okay, here's our from, whatever that arrow is touching, that's what goes first. And when you have something decreased by, order is going to matter because you're subtracting, okay? Try them, it's okay. All right, I just want you to participate. I want you to try math and do it and see how you go with it, okay? Can't wait to see how you do on those answers, and I look forward to chit-chatting with you soon. Thanks so much.